Hi, everyone. My name is Samir Patel, and I am a real estate investor out of Northern Virginia. Our team primarily invests in apartment buildings, and we also do some private money and transactional lending. If that's something we can help with, please feel free to reach out. So the topic of today's video is on what to spend your tax return money on. So what we're going to do is kind of just go over what is a tax return, and then what I think are some of the best ways in which you can spend the money on being a small business owner. This is by no means financial or tax advice, none of that. So this is just for educational purposes. So let's get started. I'd say, what is a tax return, right? So a tax return is something that is withheld from you in your paycheck throughout the year, and the government is giving that money back to you, hence a return of your money that they withheld for taxes. So really, it should have been paid to you all along, right? That they just took more than they needed, and now they're giving it back to you. So it's not like you won anything in that case, right? It's just money that's really just being returned. Now, what do I think is the best way to spend that money? Well, I think the first thing is to pay off any bad debt, and that includes the cost of the tax return, right? So bad debt, what is that, right? So I think of it as things that are high interest, consumer debt for one, any kind of liabilities that are not producing income, um, those kind of things. So for example, credit card debt, right? That's an example of bad debt, really high interest, not really producing anything. Another one is a car loan, right? Another thing is maybe like student loans, right? They're debt that's in place and reoccurring, but not really tied to an asset that's producing income, right? So that's the first thing. And of course, the cost of the tax return itself, right? So if you paid a CPA or if you paid any kind of licensed professional to do your tax return for you, or even if you got TurboTax and the cost of that subscription or whatever is a cost to do the return, right? So if you got money, I think the first thing is to cover the cost of that expense, right? And of course, pay off bad debt. Second thing is to use it on yourself for education, right? So one thing you can do is always invest in yourself. Keep investing in yourself, your education, your growth, learning, etc. Right? So this is something I did actually this year. Is I took the money I got from my tax return, first paid off the cost of that return, paid my CPA, which I already paid in advance, but I just kind of refunded myself for that money. And then next, I actually joined two courses, right, to further my education in multifamily investing and also creative finance, right? So those kind of things are things I want to keep growing in, learning about, and expand my knowledge in. So I invested in myself, right? And that's going to take me a lot further in my path in my career. So third thing I would say is to invest in your investments or your side hustle, right? So that could be, down payment on a property. That could be investing in your side hustle. Maybe it's hiring a VA in your business, right? To help take some of the weight off you that you could focus on other tasks, right? It could be anything, right? It could, if you're running an automotive business, it might be to further invest in tools, things that can help further grow your business. Fourth thing is to invest or just put it into a high interest emergency savings account, right? And this is one that's not the best because of current inflationary environments where cash is trash. Everybody says that. However, having a nice emergency fund is a good thing to have, right? Especially if you're maybe, have a few bills coming up that you know about, but you don't want to put into an investment in a long period of time, right? So I would say somewhere less than 12 months, or if you just need cash readily available, it's not a terrible option. It's of course losing value because of inflation, but you have it available because you know you'll need it soon. And then the fifth thing is a date night, or like a leisure activity with your family, your significant other, on your or yourself, right? So I'm not advocating this if you're currently doing this every week. This is something that if you haven't taken your significant other out in a while, right, to have a meal or just celebrate, you guys really talk, do that, right? That's really important. So like use some of the money for that. I'm not advocating using all of it for that, right? Maybe a third, for example, and just go and do that, right? Like that will help strengthen your relationship and really keep you in line of your goals, right? Because as real estate investors or small business owners, we make a lot of sacrifices, right? And our family makes a lot of sacrifices in terms of leisure, um, any kind of activities, or really just we do a lot to sacrifice and keep growing our business, right? So it's really important to value and cherish those people in your life who are allowing you to do all this. So that's my take on just a few things that I was thinking about in terms of your extra money from your tax returns. I'm actually focused on number 2 this year, is really just self and education, and just keep on pouring into myself in that way. But hopefully you got some value out of this video. Feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to help out, or just talk anything in your investing journey. Thanks. Take care.